Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for tuning in with us here at Stahls on Facebook Live. I'm Mike Koval, and what we're going to talk about with you today is how to decorate using reflective heat transfer materials. So just a little bit about what we'll be going into today is obviously the reflective market, the opportunities that you could approach, the different markets, and the different types of materials that Stahls carries that could help you tremendously with this market. So we've seen the reflective industry, apparel industry, continue to grow of over 5% each year. And what does that exactly mean in sales? That's about $5.7 million in the athletic industry over the next 4 years. That's not chump change we're talking about. So this market is something that we definitely should not ignore, especially as decorators. So let's get into some of the different markets that you could approach with using reflective heat transfer products. And just before we go any further, as always, feel free to post questions, comments, and I'll be pausing momentarily throughout this broadcast to answer any of those questions for you. So jumping into some different markets that you could approach using reflective material. First and foremost, we have our emergency crews, the EMT, ambulance, first responders on firefighters, things like that. Roadside and construction workers, there's a huge market for this. And outside of those are the most common and most thought of for this product, but it's growing more and more popular in sportswear applications today. With the popularity of athleisure and even, the jogging pants with Under Armour, Adidas, Nike, all these major manufacturers and brands are starting to use reflective on this as a trendy style look, but also for the high visibility. With joggers and even in the sports world, cross-country runners, and even those busy folks, in their day-to-day lives with 9-to-5 jobs, kids going to soccer practice, whatever it may be, they might not find the time to work out. They go for a jog late in the evening, and it just helps them add another layer of safety to their apparel and a trending look. So these are some of the things that we'll be going over today in our applications of just decorating some of these more popular apparel items, in these many different types of markets. So here at Stahls, we've seen this trend, and we've had reflective products here, mainly the 3M, for years and years. And we've also added some different products over the years, but the most common that you hear about is our 3M Scotchlite 5807. We've introduced a colored line of reflectives, and we also have what's called our Reflective 2. And each of these materials have different uses and different applications in which they should be used. So let's first talk about 3M, because most of you are probably already familiar with it, and it's got name brand recognition and the most widely used out there. And the reason most folks are using 3M product is because it meets all ANSI certifications for reflectivity. And more often than not, police departments, fire, EMTs, road crews, they require that reflectivity certifications if they're being used on their garments. So anytime that those requirements are met, you absolutely have to use 3M. And then we have our colored reflectives, which that takes reflectivity to a whole new level. It adds colors to the product. Typically, most reflective products are always silver. But now with the introduction of color, you have different colors from blue, yellow, black, red, and some other colors there as well. And then we also have our Reflective 2, which is a lower cost alternative to reflectivity. It's about a 40% savings when using the Reflective 2. Now the only drawback of the Reflect 2 is that it doesn't meet any of the reflectivity or ANSI certifications that are oftentimes required. But the good news is, if you're decorating for, let's say, a road crew, construction crew, something like that, odds are they already have one of those safety green vests that have the reflectivity striping that's already sewn into them. More often than not, those garments there already meet the ANSI certifications. So then you're able to use a lower cost reflective product to save yourself some money and add extra profit for you, because you could still charge the higher dollar amounts as if you were using 3M. And the same thing applies with the color reflective. So With that, what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and demo some of these products and do some heat application for you on each of these products. So we're going to head over to the heat press, and the first product that we're going to be using today is our 3M reflective. And we're going to be putting this on a safety jacket here, and we're going to do a 2-color application. Sorry, Taylor, if I'm moving all over the place. And we're going to do 2 applications on this. We're going to do a left chest with a name drop, and then we're going to do the full design on the back here. So today we're going to be using the Hotronix Fusion. So we're going to swing ourselves away, and I'm going to go ahead and load my jacket onto the press. What nice things about the Fusion is the 100% threadability to decorate more items quickly and easily. And the reason we thread that on there, so we have the zipper in the front that won't interfere with our pressing area. So we get a nice, flat, even surface to ensure proper adhesion. So we have our jacket loaded in there. I'm going to do a quick preheat just to remove any moisture and wrinkles, but also to test the pressure to be sure we have adequate pressure when applying our transfer. And that's a nice tip when adjusting your pressure. Always have the garment loaded on the heat press while testing your pressure. So the first step is to lay our base layer of product, which is our 3M reflective. So go ahead and place that on our jacket. And the 3M reflective applies at 325 degrees for about 15 to 20 seconds. So go ahead and lock our press down. And we're just going to, since we're doing a 2-color application, I'm just going to do a quick tack on the base layer. And doing a quick tack minimizes the amount of shrinking that happens when you heat apply vinyl, so to make sure we can properly line up the second layer. So we'll move our backing from the 3M, and then we'll go ahead and put our top layer to finish our application. And what we're using here today as the second layer, it's our fashion film neon orange, and it just gives another layer with the neon colors of visibility here. So we have our second layer, and I need to find me a cover sheet. There we go. And we're going to use a cover sheet to protect the exposed area of the 3M reflective to not damage or stick to the surface. And then we're going to go ahead and apply the fashion film for the full dwell time of 10 to 15 seconds. And using this full dwell time will then seal in the base layer of 3M and also the full application for the fashion film on top. And much like the 3M, the fashion film is a hot peel product, so we can go ahead and remove that. And there we have a 2-color application with reflective and the neon orange fashion film. So we're going to go ahead and now do the front for the name drop. And then what I'm going to do with the Fusion is I'm going to swap out the lower platen so we can get a nice flat pressing surface for our name drop. So we don't want to melt the zipper or have this small layer of piping in the collar to interfere with the pressing area. So using a 6x10 platen will get us a nice flat surface there to get us a nice even pressure. So to remove, we're going to release the latch and remove the 16x20 platen, which comes standard with the Hotronix Fusion. And we're going to load the 6x10 platen in here to complete our left chest application. So drop the 6x10 on, lock our latch, and we're going to grab our garment here. We're going to lay this over. Before I position it for application, I'm just going to put it on here like this to give me a better area to judge where I'm going to place my left chest. So place our name drop, adjust to make sure our transfer is straight, and then that we have the zipper and any of the seams here and on the side from the sleeve fall below the pressing surface. And then we're going to go ahead and press for the 320 degrees at 15 seconds. 15 to 20 seconds, sorry. And we're going to peel hot. There we've completed our full application. The left chest name drop, if I can show you straight. And then we have the full back 2-color application with reflective and fashion film neon orange. So adding a second color is just another way to take your designs to the next level. So the next product we have, we're going to choose our color reflective. I need to get my cover sheets out of the way. And we're going to go ahead and stick with the 6x10 platen for this, for some of our application. So what we're going to do on this Ogio brand garment, we're going to do a left chest. So we're keeping the 6x10 again because of these buttons here to avoid that. So just like the jacket, going to thread it on. Have that collar and seam and buttons fall to the side. And we're using the Hi-Vis Color Reflect Blue. So I like to do to get a nice placement is come from the seam where it meets the collar and kind of line up your design in the middle with that. So in the Hi-Vis applies at the same time and temperature of 3M, 320 to 350 degrees for 20 seconds. Adjust my pressure a little bit more. And little tip when using the color reflective, oftentimes we've had customers who say their customers prefer the black color reflective for anything that's worn in the daytime. It's easily visible when it's not reflective in the daytime because of the black color. It gives it much better visibility for the workers then. And not to mention it's still having the reflective qualities. So the color reflective is also a hot peel. So remove our carrier. And there we have the first application of the blue. So we're going to take this a next step further in a unique application. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply some reflective striping on this area under the arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the leg and sleeve platen to best get my best press here on this. So we'll do the 6x10. And place the the sleeve and leg here. Lock it in. And we'll go ahead and place this over top. Do a quick pre-press. Pressure is good. Place our blue striping design here. And this is another advantage of using heat printing to decorate. It's because heat printing allows us to achieve some unique placement areas on garments that are oftentimes challenging for other types of decorating methods. Once I apply this I'll take some time to answer some questions. Remove that hot. We're going to remove spin it around, and then we'll do the second side. Quick pre-press of that, and we'll do the second layer, or the second side of the shirt. Take some questions here. So we have Denise asking, what is the type of material in the jacket and who makes it? Well, this is going to reach 0 here shortly, and I'll grab that jacket and answer that question and the few others that are on there. It'll peel hot. There we have the second sleeve decorated. So we have left chest with the blue and a unique placement area here under the arm just for some added reflectivity. And you could already see it reflecting, with the lights here in the studio. So since the previous question was asked about the last garment I pressed, this here is a manufactured by Ogio, and it's 100% polyester. So heat printing is also an excellent way to decorate these types of materials because a lot of these materials are a low temp application, and sometimes these have a tendency to scorch, and using a lower heat on these will prevent that from happening. So back to the jacket for Denise. This is a Storm Creek, and I believe it's just a 100% polyester. Let me find the tag here. This is 6% spandex and 94% polyester. So with the 3M product or the Hi-Vis color reflective, even the reflective 2, perfectly suitable for both of these garments. And it's only 4% spandex, so there's not much stretch to it. So you don't have to worry about any designs distorting and things like that, what often happens with stretchable garments. Let's see, some other ones. Denise also asked, can the 6x10 platen be used on the autoclam? Absolutely, yes. You could use nearly any of the optional platens on all Hotronix heat presses. The only one that the sleeve and leg platen, while it will fit on the autoclam models, you just don't get the threadability that you do with a Fusion. Even if you have a caddy or the counter caddy, the base sometimes still isn't very conducive for threading it on there just because there's not as much clearance underneath that we have with the Fusion. But the 6x10, no problem at all in using that with the autoclam. Let's see, we have Nico Morales. Do you need Teflon pillows with the Fusion? I see you're not using them. You're probably asking in regards to the seams here underneath the sleeves. Yes, you can use pillows, and what that does is that absorbs these seams. But with this type of garment, it's very lightweight, and it doesn't have much thickness there. So what I did there is I just increased the pressure slightly to avoid having to use a pillow. But if you did, that's perfectly acceptable as well. But when the seams are a lot thicker, or you don't have a platen that allows most of it to fall over, you definitely want to use a pillow. And like for instance, if you have a heat press that doesn't have quite the same threadability as the Fusion, we would have wanted to use the pillow on that jacket previously, because what that'll do is you wouldn't be able to avoid the zippers from the back. So you use that pillow to absorb that in. So yes, that's a great question. If you have a troubled area, pillows do help for sure in your applications to absorb anything. But one of the nice things about the Fusion is you have the ability to change the platens and stuff like that and thread garments, so to reduce the amount of time it takes you to press having to place those pillows in there. And let's see if we have any others. Looks like we're good on the questions, but if you have any more, please feel free to shout them out. I have one more application left using the Reflect 2, and we'll get to any other questions after. So the Reflective 2 is one of my favorite reflective products that we have, mainly because it's one of the easiest ones to use, and also the most affordable because of the cost. Like I said, it's 40% less than using the 3M or the color reflectives. And one of the best-selling features of the Reflective 2, it's one of the easiest reflective products that I have ever used, especially outside of 3M. The 3M product is, and the color reflective and the 3M, those two are very, very easy to weed. But oftentimes, our previous inexpensive product was a little challenging to weed at times. And I weeded my design wrong. Jenna's going to be mad at me, Taylor. Or did I? No, I didn't. It's because it's backwards. So you could just see how easy this product is to weed. And our previous version, it was our Fashion Reflect, had a tendency to curl and tear when weeding. And you can see with that one, very easy, pretty much one pull, and you have all of our detail weeded out of there. So we're doing a unique look here, kind of a reverse lettering and how we're weeding these things out. Just it gives another unique design aspect to your designs. Nice thing about Reflective 2, it has a pressure sensitive carrier so that if you have fine detail, it's easy to achieve without having to worry about taking a lot of extra care when weeding the dots of eyes or small cavities like in the letter A and stuff like that. So we have a Reflective 2. Again, you can see in here from the lights, it's super high reflective qualities, but just know that again, with the Reflective 2, if you have to meet any sort of certifications, this doesn't have it. But like I mentioned before earlier, if you're putting this on a garment that has, or if you're decorating a garment that already has the reflective striping, stuff like that, then by all means use this because you don't need to have it certified because the garment itself already is certified. So again, saves you some money. So back to the application on this. And for this application, we're using a new era garment, which is, I believe this is just 100% polyester. 60% cotton, 40% polyester. So we're going to do the Reflective 2. We're going to do 2 applications on this, one in the center chest, and we're going to do one on the pocket here. So I'm going to switch back to my full-size platen. Lock it on, and then I'm going to thread. Actually, let's see, does this fit? And check out another platen here. See, going to use the 11 by 15 for this application, and you'll see why. As you saw, the V-neck and the pocket were kind of in the way for us. So the 11 by 15 is nice for these style of garments, especially hoodies with the pocket, because you could lay it horizontally as opposed to vertically. Dress it on, and the pocket can fall below. So I'm going to do a quick pre-press, adjust my pressure because I changed the platen as well, so that's going to make the pressure different than the previous platen. So we have our bulldogs. Place that in the center. Oftentimes bending the transfer in the middle allows us to give a good center point for the transfer itself. We'll line it up in the middle here, and I like to do usually about 3 fingers. And the Reflective 2 applies at 290 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds. It too is a hot peel. Any other questions, Taylor? No other questions? Okay. And the Reflective 2 is also a hot peel product. Go ahead. Peel this hot. And there we have our first application. And now we're going to decorate this pocket. And then for this one, since this is a little more beefed up, I'm going to place a pillow in there to absorb these seams. And all these pillows are available at Stahls.com in a variety of different sizes. Okay. Place that on the inside. And then just like when switching out a platen, when you use a pillow, you always want to be sure to test your pressure because the pillow is going to throw off the pressure. So be sure to test it. See, right now I could barely lock this down due to that added thickness in there. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen it to get us to the medium pressure that's required for the Reflective 2, which is usually between a 4 and a 6 on the Fusion or the Hotronix auto clamp. So I'm going to do the Bulldog design. Place that over the pocket. Swing away back. And again, 290 degrees for about 10 to 15 seconds for the Reflective 2. Any other questions, Taylor? No more questions coming in? All right. I'm going to go ahead and peel this hot. There we have another reflective design with the Reflective 2 and a nice unique placement application with some Hi-Vis reflectivity. And again, this is the Reflective 2 on a 60% cotton, 40% polyester new era garment. All right, well, there we have just some different applications and uses to tap into this ever-growing reflective apparel market. As I mentioned before, so many different opportunities out there with not only just the styles of garments, unique placements, and the many different types of markets. As mentioned before, EMT, fire, road crew, construction workers, and everyday wear for athleisure and anything like that. Nikes, Adidas, Under Armour, all a huge market for you to tap into to get a piece of that $5.7 million in sales that's going to happen over the next 5 years. So by partnering with Stahls, you have the visibility, the design flexibility, and the performance of the material, no matter any applications that you so choose. So visit Stahls.com today to check out each of these products. 3M Scotchlite 5807, Hi-Vis Color Reflective, and the Reflective 2. Again, Stahls.com. We appreciate having you today. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.